Welcome. Welcome to a live training here in the Advanced Manifestation community. I'm Cory Michelle, and let's just dive right in. Our topic today is Stop Sabotaging Your Magic, Clarity Edition. And I want to talk about a couple of things that I see people all the time sabotage themselves with when they're wanting to manifest the big stuff, the things that would really light their life on fire and make it worth living, really. And these things sometimes are misidentified. Mostly they're misidentified. They are not really caught as saboteurs, but what ends up happening is we keep running around in circles thinking, well, I just need to do this thing and then I won't be sabotaging myself. Or I just need to, people will often say, well, I just need to focus and do the thing. Well, when we're saying this catchphrase of, I just need to, that's usually not what you need to do and not what's going on. And it might be a result, like after the thing within you is resolved, that might end up happening. But usually there's something underneath, kind of like underneath the surface in your energy or in your subconscious, that's actually sabotaging. So welcome everybody to Stop Sabotaging Your Magic Clarity Edition. So hey, hi for me in the chat. Let me know you're here. I'm super excited to have you. Finally made it here. Hello, everyone. Fantastic. Love seeing you guys here. And if you're watching the replay, #replay. Let me know that you watched it. So these, just to let you guys know, we've been doing these free live trainings every week for almost this entire year, I think since maybe February. And we plan to continue for a while. I hope that you're gaining value from them. They're things that I'm talking about in my advanced level classes and offering to you guys as information, as tidbits, as content that if you're taking it in and it applies to you, could really assist you in manifesting exactly what you would like to have as your life experience. We had somebody recently say, oh, well, Cory's always selling something, all of her videos, she's selling something. Well, what I do is I have other opportunities for people. So I wanted to actually just address this before we move in, because this is a major saboteur for people. And they think it's about somebody else, but it's really about themselves. Anybody in business knows that you have to put your products out there for sale, right? You have to invite people in. And what I do is I offer a lot of free content, and I offer a lot of information out there for free in my podcasts and my trainings, my free trainings and webinars and masterclasses here now in this group. All you need to do is join the group and you get a free live stream every single week. And I'm always inviting people to have more because my classes go a lot deeper. And there's a commitment from people to come in to the containers that we have to do the work. There needs to be some sort of exchange. Otherwise, it's, if you've ever done this, if you've ever offered anything out there into the world, if you just keep giving, it's exhausting. And that's one of the reasons my last business, which was failed, crumbled, dismantled itself about 12 or 13 years ago. That's why, is because I overgave. I gave everything away. And then I was depleted, I was burned out, and I was broke. And so I just wanted to say this because I think there's a big conversation out there in the world of, spiritual stuff and consciousness stuff, is that we need to give it all away for free. And that's just not true. Like, it's taken hundreds of thousands of dollars for me in classes, in my own work, and putting myself out there, and 12 years of facilitation to get me where I am very effective as a coach and a facilitator. So if you come into one of my containers, we actually have guarantees on the higher level classes that you will create what it is that you want, because we're so confident in that. You will change your life. You will have a quantum leap because I've done all the work I have. And when I get these comments back of like, oh, Cory's just trying to sell something, I'm just like heartbroken, because I want you to know that these other things are available, whether they're $33 like the class this weekend on Getting Clear, or whether it's my higher level classes or programs that are quantum leap programs that are, multiple thousands of dollars. And it's always a choice to receive. And it's this consciousness that says you're wrong for charging, you're wrong for inviting people, that is just like I said, it's heartbreaking. So I want you to know I will keep inviting you. And if you're not okay with that, please leave the group. Please go somewhere else where you can get everything for free. And if that works for somebody else, that's great. But that's just not what we are here. We are here to inspire and invite. You can have all the stuff for free you want for as long as you want. And if you're inspired, if you're called to have more of what I'm offering, you are always invited. And I always want that invitation to be out there. And if you don't know, I used to be an event planner. So I used to, for most of my life, invite people to parties. And so it is truly the party, it's like the unicorn magic party in my world. And our number one value is helping people create results in their lives. And that's what we love doing. That's what our number one priority is. And that's what we're all about. So if you choose to engage with us more, come to one of our classes, then you know what you can count on is I'm going to give my 100%, usually a lot more than that. I oftentimes overgive because that's just what happens around me. It's a party and everybody gets all the things. And hopefully you walk away with having gained something in your life. Okay. So I wanted to just say that because this is just not the space for criticizing somebody who has a business, no matter who that person is, for inviting you to consider whatever else they have to offer. Because in business these days, entrepreneurship is the way to go. We're coming out of working for the dollar and working for, getting paid per hour, and stepping into the space where people are creative. And there's so many more entrepreneurs now than there were just even 10 or 12 years ago when I really got this business going, especially in the coaching world. And I really feel like we can support each other in whatever way we can and not diminish each other. Somebody's doing something good in the world, give them a kudos. Don't tell them they're doing it wrong because you don't want to buy anything. That's fine. Don't buy anything. I don't actually care if you buy anything. I just know the value of what we have. And just like you guys, entrepreneurs, know you have the value of what you have and you want more people to know about it. So shout from the rooftops. Don't be discouraged by those people that say, oh, they're trying to sell something. Well, yeah, I have stuff to offer and I want you to know about it. So that's what I have to say about that. A little bit of rant before we get started, because the other thing is it ties to our topic today of stop sabotaging your magic. So if you have the perspective, now, if you're probably on still now, you probably don't have this perspective, but we'll just talk about it. If somebody has the perspective, oh no, they're just selling stuff, then that would mean that this perspective, the person, the consciousness, actually can't sell anything. Now, they may not have anything to sell, but I would guess that their money flows are actually not where they want them to be, because they're not allowing themselves to be out there selling things. Be out there inviting people to what they have to offer. And we aren't for everybody. I know my unicorn energy and my perspectives aren't for everybody, but they are for a lot of people. And those people come to me all the time and say, thank you so much for your refreshing perspective. And when we sabotage our magic, that's one way that we sabotage our magic, is through our perspective. Are we dissing other people and what they're choosing? Every time we do that, we are limiting what we're able to express in our own way. And we won't maybe ever do things the way other people will, but that is a little barrier where we say, oh, well, I don't want to be judged for selling things, right? And I know I've facilitated a lot of people over the years in that same thing. So we're coming in, we are already at the time where we can shout from the rooftops who we are and what we do and what we have to offer, because why not? I mean, literally, why not? Tell me one reason why I wouldn't want to do that. I can't even think of one good one. Okay, so let's keep going. And on this theme of stop sabotaging magic, I've got some notes here, so I'll be looking down. But here's my question for you. If you feel like you're sabotaging yourself, ask yourself, what do you think that is? And I ask people this all day long. What do you think that is? Okay. It might be, oh, I'm, well, let me add this. When I ask people, what do you think is in the way? Almost all the time, people say me. Okay. Okay, great. You're in the way. Okay. Well, get out of your way then. Right. It's like easy. Just get out of your way. No, oftentimes it's not as easy as that. Sometimes you go, okay, yeah, let's get out of my own way. Let's go. Right. But there's these underlying things that are really in the way. And oftentimes it's not what you think it is. Now, the big one that I mentioned before, oftentimes is I just need to. Okay. So if you fill in the blank, I just need to, whatever the thing is, I'm going to bet probably at least 80 to 90% of the time that's actually not it. That's actually not it. That's not what's sabotaging you. That's actually not even what you need to do. That's what you've decided you need to do that actually isn't the thing that's keeping you that will catalyze whatever it is that you would like to have. Okay. So we got ego keeping me small and safe. Could be the ego, could be something else. But what I find so much of the time in my facilitation is what you think it is actually isn't it. And this is sabotaging your magic. And this is why one of the reasons I get out there so much, and I have for the last 12 years, is because one of my gifts is to be able to see where the incongruencies are and where you're telling yourself basically lies, right? We're lying to ourselves. Okay. And those little lies that we tell ourselves, we think are the truth, right? It's like a lie masquerading as truth. And we go, but this is just what it is. This is what it is, right? I had somebody say to me recently, actually, not one person, this is a common one. I just need to do the thing. I just need to get started. I just need to, build the website. I just need to whatever. But that's usually not it. So what is it? Now, I'm going to talk about energy with you because our theme today is through clarity, the clarity edition for this one. Okay. Now, oftentimes what we're doing is we're reacting to an energy. And when we react to an energy, we will make it about something, right? Because we're not always aware that we're reacting to an energy. For example, if you want to make more money and start a class or start a business or something like that, right? And you're getting stopped somewhere and you're like, but I just can't seem to do this thing. I just can't seem to do, whatever it is. You got to look at what is the energy that's presenting, right? And then also what is the energy that you're used to. So much of the time when we're really going for something, right? We really want to create something that's going to take our action. It's not just going to magically show up. Business isn't going to magically show up. You still have to take actions to engage with it. Even if you buy a business, you're still taking actions, right? There's always actions. The more congruent those actions are with the result having already been in your actualized, the more awarenesses and everything are going to show up and the more right action you'll take, correct action. Okay. But what happens is we get into these energies that we get used to in our lives. And maybe they've been going on for a long time, like your whole childhood and all the way till now, or maybe you just sort of got into an energy. And then what happens is taking an action is going to get you out of that energy. Okay. So, for example, I came across somebody who was talking about the habit of mediocre. And it hit me. I went, oh my God, mediocre is a habit, isn't it? And it's also an energetic addiction. So when I talk about energetic addictions, I've been talking about energetic addictions for a long time. And then when I used to call them bogus priorities. So if you ever did one of my old classes, you would have heard me talk about bogus priority. And it's basically where, even though you want the magical thing, or you want to create the thing, you want to feel confident, empowered, then, but what's happening is you make choices that lead you back to this other energy. And that's called an energetic addiction, and according to Joe Dispenza. And I went, oh my God, bogus priority, energetic addiction. It's something redirecting you. So you say, oh, I want to lose weight, but then you go and eat ice cream and cake every night, right? There's an inner conflict in there that leads you, says the conflict is that losing weight, being the thin me, having success with that is a different energy than what I'm used to. What I'm used to is sabotaging myself with going to this comfort zone of cake and ice cream at night, for example, right? So then we take these actions. Used to hear, actually, I don't hear this as much. I used to hear when Netflix first started getting big, it was like, oh, I want to work on my business, but instead I watch Netflix. Well, if you keep watching Netflix, is the business going to get created? No. You've got to create a different priority, and you got to create a different energetic priority. So these energies that we've got to get into that will create and get you aligned with what it is that you want are different than your comfort zone. So if your comfort zone is mediocre and you're okay with mediocre, you've been okay with mediocre, then oftentimes you'll be basking in that energy, not even knowing it, thinking, oh, this is just the way it is. So when you try to be extraordinary or create the impossible or create something super fun or exciting or empowering or step into your confidence, doesn't match. So then these little sneaky actions will show up to say, oh, it'll just be easier to let myself off the hook and not do it. Oh, it'll just be easier over here. Then if we have layered in disappointment, you've gone for it before and then you've been disappointed by failure, then we've got that energy in there too. We also have vagueness. Okay. If we're vague or meh, okay, I'm okay with being meh, right? I'm okay with this, it's not enough really, but it's not nice. It's not whatever, but it's okay. It's fine. I'm really grateful for what I have. And we sort of slap gratitude on it, right? All of those are energetic addictions that that actually sabotage you. Okay. So if you're using, well, I just need to whatever, then you want to actually look at, hey, is there any energy of mediocre? Am I settling? Mediocre is like settling, right? Am I settling for this is okay? Or did I really put 100% in? Did I really go for it? Did I go over the top for it? Was I all in? Or is this mediocre energy my back door? I let myself off the hook with it. So let me know in the comments if you've ever used these energies and said, oh, I don't really want to go for it. That's enough. Right. And we do that to sabotage ourselves. Okay. Now, what I wanted to address here specifically this vague and mediocre energy, right? When we're in vague and mediocre, we are oftentimes not allowing ourselves to get exactly clear on what we would like. Because if we actually had clarity, then what happens is those awarenesses come in, we have different energy sets, and then there's different choices to make. And ultimately, you have to start knowing yourself to be different. Okay. But if like mediocre has been the vibe, whether it's mediocre money, mediocre relationships, mediocre choices with your body, mediocre inspiration in life, oftentimes will not really step in because that mediocre energy is very strong. Okay. We're used to it. Yeah. That mediocre energy, yuck, it's been hiding under the energy of being grateful and seeing the bright side. Exactly. So slapping this is the ultimate example of a poo pie with icing on top. You got a poo pie, slap some icing on top like gratitude or the bright side or being positive. It doesn't make it not a poo pie. Okay. Stepping in fully to becoming that version of you who's having whatever it is that you're inspired by is really where the magic is. And it's magical as fuck up there, like in that vibe. But if you're putting icing on a poo pie, it doesn't work if you're covering it up or if you can't find it yet, right? Maybe you didn't know, right? But when we take a little look, we go, oh, look at what's in here. You've been complacent, right? You've been in the mediocre. It's been okay. That's fine. And I see a lot of magical, super powerful, potent, aware, empathic, creative people playing and dabbling in the mediocre and the vague energy because of it's just because of your conditioning. It doesn't have anything to do with what's possible. Okay. So getting clear, which is a class I'm doing this weekend, a little workshop. It's not a class, it's actually a workshop. I'm going to take people through a process of actually getting clear, but also energetically clear. Okay. So when we sort of reverse engineer what you would like and getting clear about it and removing that fear of disappointment, removing the mediocre, removing that meh and vague energy, then it goes, what do you really want? What do you really want that you've decided is not even possible? So you actually kind of don't even know if you want it anymore. I did this to myself. And I was like, I really want this. And then I went, but maybe not. And I went into this sort of complacent, mediocre, well, I'll just keep doing, what I'm doing. It's good enough. It's fine. I don't know if I really want to have that. And then I started looking at it and I'm like, I'm lying to myself. I'm blatantly lying to myself. And I don't like it when people lie to me. But I was lying to myself and going, is this really enough? Is this really satisfying? Is this really fulfilling? Am I being fulfilling, like the fulfilling version of myself that's creating this fulfilling life? And I went, no, this is getting boring. Boring, meh, mediocre. Okay. So in this, what are you seeing so far? Is anybody resonating with the disappointment, meh, vague, or mediocre energy? Right? This is the underneath part. Yeah, I'm really realizing how much I've been lying to myself. Yeah. And we catch ourselves at different phases of life. Life have completely had timeline hops, quantum leaps from where I was 12 years ago and all along the way. But I got to this point up here where I was like, oh, do I really want to go to that next level? What's it really going to take? What's it really going to take for me to go and have the business be like this and my presence in the world be like this and have a best-selling book and have all the things? And what I realized is you don't have to. But if you're inspired by it, that's what's calling you. That's the future timeline that's available to you. And if you don't choose it, guess what happens? You start to flatline. Okay. Now we do this in holding on to relationships. We do this in holding on to jobs or clients. We do this all over the place, even with our bodies. I got to the point where I was like, all right, well, this is fine for now. And then I went, that is actually not true at all. Not true. Not fine. So if you look at your world right now, are you lying to yourself? Is there any of these energies, disappointment, meh, vague, or mediocre going on? I'm okay with this, settling. And would you like to get clear, fully clear on what timeline you want to go on, what timeline is available for you? Because it can get really confusing if it's even possible. Because you could be saying things like, well, I've tried this before. It didn't work out. Or I did that. Didn't work out. Or I put myself out there. But what have you learned? And did you keep going? Right? Sometimes we build stories up that start to validate, well, see, that didn't work before, so it's not going to work again. And then we just don't even go there anymore. Instead of going, well, if that didn't work, what will? Well, if that didn't work, what will? I'm going there. I'm having that. I'm having this life at this timeline. I want to live inspired as fuck. I want to be living my, best life, living a life that's worth it to me, create all the things, be that version of me that is empowered and confident, that knows that she can or he can do and have anything that you go for, right? That's where all the magic is that version of you who's clear. Because here's the thing, here's what clarity really is. And I'm going to talk about this weekend in the class called Get Clear and Let the Universe Deliver. So much of what people teach about manifesting is all about say, this is what I want. Like, this is the external thing that I want. But that's only like a tiny part of the whole picture. There's of what the universe delivers. Like, oh, I just got to say what I want and the universe will deliver. Sometimes that happens and that's really cool. But if you want your whole life to be that way, where things are showing up that you're like, oh, I kind of thought about that yesterday and then it showed up, right? If you want it to be like that, that's what I call like really being with your quantum field. There's multiple other things to get clear about. You got to get clear about what you don't want. You got to get clear about what you do want. And you got to get clear about who you're being along the way. Because what the universe is always doing is giving you awarenesses. And if you're being the version of you who's being mediocre, you may or may not get the awareness because you're not resonant with it. Your radio station antenna, right? Like in your car, you're not attuned to that frequency. You're not attuned to your magical life. You're attuned to your mediocre life. So those awarenesses coming in, you may or may not get them. But if you do get them and you're being the mediocre energy, then are you going to follow those awarenesses? No, you're going to make reasons and excuses on why you can't, right? We've all done it. This is like the human experience. This is what we've all done, right? So we go, all right, if you started tuning to your energy to excellence, to creating the impossible, to creating the crazy possible, to creating your best life, to being inspired, to living fulfilled. This is what I would call energetic priorities. then guess what? Your radio is on the right channel of that timeline. So you're going to get those awarenesses. That's where we say, let the universe deliver. It's the awarenesses. And once we start opening that channel to the awarenesses, then what's got to happen is you got to be the version of you who's taking those actions. Because every action you take is a catalytic point. Connection and catalytic points. You take that action, you go, oh, look at, boom, you've just moved into a space that there's going to be more awarenesses from that space. Okay, then things start showing up. Then your reality starts configuring for you in this timeline versus the mediocre timeline, the saboteur timeline. Saboteur timeline, all the things that'll sabotage you show up. Your things. Everybody's a little bit different. Okay. So what I want to do is I'm putting on a maybe 2.5 hour workshop all about getting clear and letting the universe deliver. And what we're going to do is I'm going to have create a little PDF for you, a little workbook, and you're going to do the work. And this is one of the things that oftentimes people are like, oh yeah, I just listened to somebody, Cory, whoever, I read a book, but I didn't actually do the work. This is where we're going to do the work. We're going to go through a 5-step process of getting clear. Okay. And if you'd like to come, let me post the link and I'm going to read a couple of things to you here. Okay, here's the link for you. You can, actually, I'm not going to post the link yet. I can't post it in here on StreamYard. I'll have to post it in the Facebook group. There's already an event in the Facebook. And if you're on our email list, there should be an email in your inbox as well. But the who this class is for, if you've been spinning your wheels, you're in overwhelm, frustration, mediocre creations, you're not satisfied yet, you're not fulfilled yet, and you're unclear. Okay, you just know you're unclear. You can't just say, here's what I want, here's where we're going, here's what I'm becoming. Okay, if you can't say those things with clarity, then you're not clear. Okay, and we can help you get clear through this process. Okay, so you're going to identify and acknowledge what you truly desire, but it's not just the external stuff, it's the experience. And that's what's key about this, is the experience you want to have. You're going to release unconscious patterns of resistance to this desire. So this is where we're going to look at the underneath energy. We're going to send a clear fuck yes to the universe. I'm having this, clear intent. Okay. And then you're going to open to receive clear awarenesses, inspiration, and actions. Okay. And then we're going to upgrade who you're being to match and embody the desired manifestation. Okay. So we're going to do these 3 things in about 2 hours. So we're going to do the work. So you're no longer just, wondering, hey, why isn't this showing up, and being okay with what is showing up that you're actually not okay with. And this is like, man, this takes some humility to admit that you're not okay with what's showing up. And it's kind of like, it's the first step. Go, I'm actually not okay. I've been pretending I'm okay with this, and I'm actually not okay. Is anybody in that position? Like, I've been pretending this relationship is okay, and it's actually not okay. I've been pretending who I'm being is okay, and it's actually not. I got to step up, because I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with the vague or the mediocre or the, fear or whatever it is that's going on. Okay. And I get super passionate about this because it's like, it's such a real place that people are. That is, if people are ready, is the moment that changes everything. When you're honest with yourself and say, I'm actually not okay with this. Now, from that point, and only that point, can things change. When we're doing the icing on the poo pie and making it like, okay, it's good. Oftentimes we do that because we're getting something out of it. Right. We're in something that we're getting something out of. It's like, okay, at this job because I'm getting the money. Right. It's okay, I'm in this relationship because it fulfills this. It's okay because, I'm doing this because I'm getting this. What are you getting that you've decided you're okay with that's actually not true, that you're actually not okay with? Now, this level of realness and rawness can take you to the next level. You might already start getting awarenesses after this call. Start asking yourself, what am I not okay with that I am pretending to be okay with? Okay. Then you can get clear. Because if you keep pretending, that's your back door. Keep lying to yourself, that's your back door. And you can't really go anywhere with that. The only thing you can do is maintain it because you've decided it's all you can have. But is it true? Is that really all you can have? No. But you have to be able, you have to get to the point where you see that you actually can have more. You can. And there's timelines out there available for you. They are. There are for everybody. But settling is what keeps us on the current timeline. So I'd love to invite you. It's called Get Clear and Let the Universe Deliver. It's $33 US, 2 hours with me on Zoom. And we're going to go through those 5 elements and get you clear so that you can step right in to having your magical as fuck life. Why not? Why wouldn't you? That's a great question. Why wouldn't I get clear? Tell me all the reasons. Why wouldn't you? Now, one of the things actually that comes up for a lot of people is they don't want to get clear because they know that whatever it is they're using to hold themselves in whatever positioning they are in their life right now is going to go away. Sometimes relationships go away. Sometimes certain things you've created go away. Sometimes jobs go away. Things will I was going to say decompose, but deconstruct. It's kind of like they decompose though. They deconstruct so because they don't belong there anymore. They're not in your new timeline. They're not in your new reality. So you just got to let it go. And sometimes we're like, but this is so real. This is all I can have. No, it's not true. There's so much more. So much more. I was talking to dinner with a friend last night. And we were talking months ago and she was telling me about a relationship and she kept saying, blah, 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 and it's fine, and blah, 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 and it's fine, and blah, 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 and it's fine. And I went, oh my God, I said, so your relationship is just fine? And she goes, oh my God. She's like, you're right. I'm like, so you're okay with fine? And she goes, huh. She didn't say anything then. She ends up leaving that relationship a little while later. And within a few weeks of leaving that relationship, she's now engaging with somebody else that is filling up her soul and she's having so much fun and she doesn't have any idea where it's going, but it's like so much more congruent than what she was holding on to because it was fine. I should add that in there. Mediocre, fine. It's fine. If you're saying it's fine, it's not fine. To your spirit, ask your spirit what it would like, not what you think is fine. Mediocre. All right. If you want to play a bigger game, come play with us this weekend and get clear. All right. All of the details is on, I will post it right now in the Facebook group, but it's all the details are on the link that's there. All right, you guys, thanks for joining me today. And by the way, if you're watching this later and it's way beyond this weekend, the link will be in the description of how to get access to the recordings, which will be just as valuable because it'll take you through the process. And you'll also get the workbooks and all that stuff too. So if you can't join, but you want to get clear, then just buy the course and then you'll get the recordings when they're available. All right, you guys, thanks for joining me live. I adore you guys. Man, the energy is really coming together undeniably to support you in having everything that you came for, everything that you came to experience, everything that you would love to receive and have. And I would love to support you in that if you feel called to come and join me. All right, you guys, have a freaking magical day, and I will see you